This take has to do with two superstars in the NBA that I think we need to talk a little bit about and give them some love. You know, just like you wanted to share some love for some role players on teams, I want to share some love for these two superstars, and they are Zion Williamson and Ja Morant. And I actually went and made a clip about them last week. And I thought about this one a bit further, and I thought I'd take this into a bit more of a take with you to sort of, explore a little bit more. And the take that I obviously had put in the clip already that we published was that these two players are the best 1-2 players ever picked in the draft, hands down. I can't think of another two players that lived up to their potential as the first and second pick of the draft in the last 20 years.
When you made the take, I obviously watched it and I was thinking about who are the good 1-2 duos, right? So, we talk so much about one, who went number one that was really good, who went number two that was really good, and then how often does it occur in the same year? So I don't know what you found. But historically, there's a couple of drafts that we were so close to having that the case. We think about LeBron's draft, and if Darko doesn't go number two, then that's another draft we would have had.
Or Odin and KD.
Yes, if Odin doesn't go number one, then we have that. But yeah, how often do we get 1 and 2, to be that effective? Obviously, with Zion, the jury was out, and the jury, if you're on the side of caution here, you actually should still be out a little bit because we need to see this for a couple of consecutive seasons, right? Similar to Joel Embiid. We want to see this more than a flash in the pan. We actually need to see this 82 games. We need to see this for 2 to 3 years consecutive. But yeah, it's quite interesting because it precedes. I'm getting my draft days wrong, so forgive me. But we have the 2020 draft, which probably is going down historically as like the 2000 draft, in which I think every team might have picked the wrong player or players went in the wrong position. Tyrese Halliburton going where he did, and then James Wiseman turning out to be the wrong fit for the Warriors and all of these things. But 2018 is this draft, is that correct? Or is it
2019?
2019? Right. So you know what? Fantastic to have those two drafts back to back in which one draft has, the correct people picked at the correct time and the circumstance works against a draft that is just complete chaos. I want to look up a quick draft list, but you probably have one as well. So let me know what you think.
Look, I've gone through the last 20 years or so, and just like those few names that we mentioned, it's almost like a rarity what we've seen here from this 2019 draft that these two teams, credit to the Grizz and credit to the Pelicans, have nailed it. Yeah, they've picked a player that has been impactful, and not only impactful, but impactful from the start of their careers. And look, Zion has an asterisk, obviously, because of the injuries that he had in the first few seasons. But when he's been on the floor, he hasn't needed to sort of build up to where he is now. He was always going to be a talent, and it's translating into the NBA in the sort of style that he's playing. That he's like a baby Shaq, isn't it? The stats are sort of reflecting that he's that sort of player that's dominant in the paint, and we haven't seen since the days of Shaq, and no one has a real answer for him. The way that he plays, and Ja obviously is a whole nother whole nother. It's like a D Rose, sort of, or Allen Iverson. I guess they'll play the names that sort of jump in mind of other All Stars and potential MVPs that Ja might and likely will join one day. And I think that's the take here really, that it's just rare to see and good to see that the first and second picks were obviously nailed, and we're seeing the fruits of this benefit.
So off a very quick skim of the Wikipedia page, which actually is quite well laid out to filter drafts pretty quickly. The 92 draft had Shaquille O'Neal and then Alonzo Mourning kind of back to back. Those are two solid, picks. Obviously, one having a far more successful Hall of Fame career than the other. But yeah, you know what? You think of the 96 draft, right? And you're like, oh, Allen Iverson goes number one, and Kobe and Nash and Allen are in it. But yeah, number two, it's almost a whiff spot. It'd be if we had a team of if we had a team of people, it would be lovely to almost dissect what's the most effective draft pick, because statistically speaking, one is ideally the pick to get, but is historically that always ending up the way that we want it to? And you know, the Wikipedia page for anyone who's listening that wants to do their own research here, the Wikipedia page has really good color coding for All-Star appearances, Hall of Fame careers, stuff like that. It's made my job really easy on this on the fly sort of thing. Um, but yeah, it's a real good quick visual breakdown of just the rankings of people in there. And you know, we also forget as well, you know, it's 60 picks, and I'm guesstimating here, but I feel like 15 probably go on to stay in the NBA for more than 4 years. And you know, out of each draft class, you're talking about two or three that probably become household names, um, and for a variety of reasons. You know, maybe household names because they made a couple of All-Star teams, or maybe household names because they became, you know, MVP caliber players. But yeah, the draft, not an easy thing to do. It's lovely to see that New Orleans got gifted Zion for the AD trade, and they're potentially on their way to good things. And obviously, Ja Morant going to Memphis, and obviously revitalizing a small for you know market there. You know, it's a new take in a sense that it's kind of lovely not seeing the big teams succeed the way that they used to. We're getting some parity. We're getting some new teams making conference finals and those kind of things. We have a competitive league, and I think you know we're very fortunate to you know every year that passes we're getting new generational talent to observe and you know fingers crossed for both of them to stay injury free because you would hate to have a small compilation of highlights for those two players.
Yo, this is Two Guys with Spare Time. I'm Faz, this is Nick. You're probably a basketball fan like us, so hopefully you can throw us an assist and giving our video a like and subscribing to our channel.
And if you got thoughts, feelings, or even some suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. And thank you for using your spare time to watch us in our spare time.